Hey guys, Chris here, and I'm a Ukrainian Canadian. Today is October 17th, 2023, and let's get to the news happening in Ukraine, shall we? So today is a really great day because officially the Ukrainian military confirmed that they've received the Army tactical missile systems. And there's no better way to find out than them being used in action against Russian targets. So last night, Ukraine launched a few missiles against Russian targets in Berdyansk. And today we can get a confirmation that up to 10 Russian helicopters were destroyed in the process, and also an ammunition depot was also completely destroyed as a result of these missiles being used by the Ukrainian military. So I really do believe that these missiles are going to set the stage for successful Ukrainian pushes in 2024. Of course, the Russians are much better prepared this year with their defenses being so dense, but the Ukrainians are going to utilize them to great effect to degrade Russian logistics. That is really important. I think the Army tactical missile systems are going to have the same impact as the HIMARS systems did last year in 2022. As soon as Ukraine received them, they were able to strike and destroy multiple ammunition depots in the span of a few weeks, and that degraded the Russians to such a point that Ukraine it set the stage for the Ukrainian counteroffensive in Kharkiv and Kherson. So I think that these Army tactical missile systems are going to do the same thing this year and, of course, next year, because I believe that this is going to be a much longer process compared to last year for the Ukrainian forces. The variant that Ukraine received, according to reports, are the cluster munition ones. So what is great about them is that they have a far greater kill radius compared to, let's say, a Storm Shadow. A Storm Shadow is very precise, whereas these cluster munition variants of the Army tactical missile systems have a much greater kill radius, but are not, let's say, as precise as a Storm Shadow. So I think that that's going to be very exciting to see them being used against much bigger targets like ammunition depots, aerial vehicles, lightly armored vehicles, basically bases that hold a lot of Russian military assets. So these are going to be great at degrading Russian logistics more and more. So I'm very excited that Ukraine has finally received them. Also, let's take a look at the range of these HIMARS, pardon me, it's not HIMARS, but the Army tactical missile systems. So as you can see in green, these are the HIMARS systems. So this is as far as Ukraine was able to go, um, you know, as of summer of 2022. With these new long-range missiles that Ukraine has received as of today, they have a 165-kilometer range, which is about double from the previous HIMARS systems. And you can see that they can pretty much hit anywhere within occupied territory in Ukraine. So that includes Kherson, Zaporizhia, Donetsk, and Luhansk. So the Russians can't hide anymore. Any of their ammunition depots, command centers are going to be within range. Unfortunately, Crimea is out of range for now because Ukraine did not receive the Block 1A variant, which has a 300-kilometer range. So far, unfortunately, the Kerch Bridge is still out of range, but I'm hoping that the United States will provide them maybe in the future. So I think this is probably just a test sample that Ukraine has received. It's unknown how many exactly Ukraine has received, but if they were able to launch many of them, about a dozen last night, they probably received a few dozen Army tactical missile systems. And lastly, I just want to showcase to you guys where Berdyansk is because that's really important. Berdyansk is a very important city for the Russians. They captured Berdyansk rather quickly within the first week of the Russian invasion of Ukraine in March. February, March, within that first week, they captured Berdyansk, and that set the stage for them to then go to Mariupol and encircle it within a matter of 2 weeks. So Berdyansk is really important because this is as far as the Russians can go in the south. Of course, Mariupol is also very important, but all these cities that are lounging the Azov Sea are very important because, of course, the Russians can transport a lot of supplies and other things through the Azov Sea, but they can also airlift a lot of their supplies to Berdyansk. And then from Berdyansk, they can resupply their forces in the south. So basically, with Ukraine degrading their ammunition depots, their command centers in Berdyansk, as they've done in the past. Ukraine was obviously hitting them already with Storm Shadows in the past, but with these cluster munition variants, they can have a far greater impact at degrading Russian positions in the city. So this is very important. And in terms of the distance from, let's say, Orikhiv to Berdyansk, it's about 110 kilometers, 110, 120 kilometers, so well within range. And so that's really impactful. The Russians are definitely going to feel it within the next few weeks. So that's pretty much the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm super excited to see Ukraine finally have these missiles. I told you that it's a matter of time. Whether Ukraine would receive it or not, I was 100% certain they would receive it, but it's just a matter of when. And so we finally saw that Ukraine has finally received them and has started utilizing them. They wasted no time. And so I'm very excited to see what kind of other damage they can they can do on the Russian targets. So that's the video for today, guys. A huge thank you for your support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and Slava Ukraini.